Am I the a-hole for not wanting to share my inheritance with my bonus daughter? I, 42 female, am married to an amazing man, 43 male. For some context, which I feel is important to know, my husband and I have been together for 12 years. I have children from a previous relationship, and he has one child from a prior relationship as well. He is an amazing father and has always been a present father to all the kids. He has always made sure the kids had everything they needed and was present at all activities, even though his daughter lives 6 states away. My husband was only able to spend time with his daughter every other summer vacation and every other Christmas, even though he has 50-50 custody. Bonus daughter, and I use that term endearingly, it is in no way, shape, or form negative, would receive the most expensive gifts for Christmas, birthdays, report card grades, and other related holidays due to our culture. I love my bonus daughter as if she were my own, and I have never treated her any differently. When she was with us, everything I did with my daughter, I did with her. Mani-pedis, hair, makeup, shopping sprees. She was treated equally. My husband calls her every day to see how she's doing and whether she needs anything. He also sends additional money, aside from child support, weekly because she wants to buy things like Roblox or Minecraft. Last year, I was in a car accident in which I almost lost my life. I was unable to work for quite some time, so everything fell solely on my husband. With that being said, we struggled financially for a bit, and the additional weekly money being sent to my bonus daughter had to stop temporarily. My bonus daughter is now 18 and graduated this year, but my husband was not invited to her graduation because he stopped giving her the weekly additional money and wasn't able to give her $500 for her prom dress. Now, bonus daughter doesn't answer my husband's calls or try to contact him. Recently, I inherited some money, and of course, I plan to share a large sum with my children. Word of my inheritance reached my bonus daughter's mother, and she contacted my husband, asking about the amount my bonus daughter would be receiving. My husband, confused, asked her what she was talking about, since the money didn't belong to him. It was an inheritance that I received. She started listing things my bonus daughter would need, including a new car since she will be starting college this fall. He continued to tell her that the inheritance didn't belong to him. It was mine. She began to argue, saying I had to give my bonus daughter money because I was married to him. Then bonus daughter sent my husband a message stating she was entitled to my inheritance money since I always called her daughter, and it was my fault the additional weekly money had to stop. At this point, my husband just left her messages unread and informed me of what was going on. As I was processing all of this, I became livid. I told my husband that I was planning on sharing some money as a graduation present, but now I don't feel like it. Why should I share this inheritance with someone who completely pushed him out of their life because my tragic event hurt us financially, only temporarily? So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to share my inheritance with my bonus daughter? Now for the top comments. Info. Why didn't she spend 50% of the time with him and you guys, as his custody agreement said? Her mom is very vindictive and would always threaten my husband with taking him to court or calling the cops on him if he didn't do what she wanted. My husband is a very chill person. He avoids conflicts and just wants to do what is best for his daughter. That's a terrible excuse. Capitulating to his ex is not what's best for his daughter. Exercising his 50% custody time would have been what's best so that he could maintain an actual relationship with her instead of seeing her twice every other year and essentially only showing up for her as a human ATM instead of a father. Sounds to me like he took the cowardly and lazy way out and wasn't willing to stand up to his ex and fight to stay in his daughter's life if it ever became necessary. Forget about your stepdaughter, and for that matter, your children too. Why are you looking to give this money away? You just said you guys recently had financial issues, so that leads me to believe you're not a distant relative of the Rockefellers and rolling in cash. How about you think of yourself first? Do you have a year's emergency fund already set aside? Do you have so much money set aside for retirement that you can afford to piss this money away? If you've answered yes to the last two questions, then by all means, shower your family with cash. If, however, you are not completely financially set, you would be an absolute fool to give this money to anyone or spend it on anything you don't absolutely need. So true, that other daughter and frankly your own children might not be in a situation to help you when you need help as you get to be 80 and 85. Set up funds for yourself and create a trust fund, leaving the money to the people that have been there while you are suffering. I'm assuming that the bonus daughter did not visit or send you flowers or candy or call you with concerns. Not the a-hole. She's not entitled to anything. It's your money, and you don't have to share it with anyone. Your husband needs to realize he was only ever looked at as a cash machine. His ex raised her to only care about money. I think he needs to tell her it's time she grows up and realizes family relationships are more important than money, and that she's cut off now that she's an adult. She'll learn when she matures what went wrong. I'm sure when she has her own children, she'll realize the way her mother raised her was wrong. Sorry you're going through this. Hopefully it passes quickly. Next story. My extended family think I'm a monster for going no contact with my parents. Am I the a-hole? I'm 18 male, my parents' only biological kid. They wanted more, but they couldn't have more. So when I was 6, they decided they were going to foster kids, with the hope that some would become eligible for adoption in the future. All they told me initially was that I would have a bunch of other kids to play with, so I thought that sounded really great. But then they really pressured me to say I wanted them to foster and that I was on board no matter what. The change happened because they were assigned a caseworker or social worker, not sure of the difference really, and I would be interviewed alongside them. Something I learned a few years ago is that most people who sign up to foster will say if there are certain needs they can't meet, so kids can have better placements. My parents were open to any and all kids, even with all kinds of behavioral issues if needed. So not once did they think of me. Because my parents were open to any kids, we sometimes had really traumatized kids who were violent, or some who were so angry at the world that they were violent. I was attacked a lot. I had kids punch and kick me, bite me, put me in chokeholds, burn me, and all kinds of things. My parents refused to get me a lock for my door, and when I made a makeshift doorstop, they took that away once they found it. Whenever I spoke negatively about the fostering experience, my parents would tell me if I ruined it for those kids and for them, then I would be a selfish little a-hole. They'd ask if I really thought my life was worse than those kids who had been abused and had it so much worse. They said this even after one of the foster kids lost it and beat me hard enough to leave bruises all over my face and body. It was summer, so they could hide me until the kid was gone. I had to walk on eggshells depending on who was in the house. There were times it wasn't as terrible and the kids were okay, but I struggled to want any of them around because of how crappy the experience as a whole was. And I was talked to every few months by the caseworker, but my parents had me too afraid to speak up. None of the kids they got were ever free for adoption, so they never adopted any of the kids they fostered. None ever stayed forever either. I was relieved, and they knew it. So they would get mad at me every time I was glad to see the kids go home or somewhere else. A couple of times it was suggested that I get therapy by the caseworker, but my parents never took that seriously. Their foster kids got all the therapy they needed, and my parents were so devoted to doing the best for them. But it was like, screw our bio kid and his needs. I think sometimes it was their way of punishing me for being their only. I turned 18 back in March, and I moved out of my parents' house and went to stay with a friend and his family. I was there until a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm in another state waiting for college to start. Since March, I haven't spoken to my parents once, but a few times I spoke to extended family, and they asked why I'm not talking to my parents. I told them I was no contact, and they told me it was disgusting to turn my back on my parents. Some asked me why, and I told them, but then it was like they unilaterally decided that I'm a monster for holding my parents' kindness for other kids against them. I asked why they wanted me to have contact so badly if I'm a monster, and they told me my parents are my parents. Even if they made mistakes, I need to forgive them, and shouldn't be so quick to throw away my family. They even said it's my age, and that everyone young these days is so ready to throw away their whole family over every small thing. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. You were abused and neglected while your parents played saviors to others. That's not kindness. It's performative at best and cruel at worst. You're not a monster for protecting yourself. Going no contact is a valid and often necessary choice. People forget that being a parent means protecting all your kids, not just the ones that make you look good. OP isn't punishing anyone. They're finally choosing peace. Honestly, going no contact sounds like the healthiest thing they could have done. Your parents were bad parents. End of story. You as a child didn't deserve to be hurt. The children doing it didn't deserve to be hurt. Your parents' inability to protect you is the same reason why the foster children were removed from their homes. Just because you share DNA doesn't make you family. It makes you related. Family is who you choose to share your life with. Family is there for you, protects you, understands, supports, and stand by you, even when they don't agree with you. When you find your family, the relatives will be angry, but it won't matter to you anymore. I tried to argue that with my parents once, same reason the kids were removed, and they told me it was evil to compare kids lashing out to kids being abused by their parents or guardians. And then I gave up. I think I'm like mostly there with it not mattering how mad my extended family are, because it's only a small part of me that is like, are they right? The rest of me knows I did the right thing. Child welfare social worker here, not the a-hole. Go get that therapy now. It's good that you're feeling comfortable with your decisions regarding your family. It'll be better for you to talk it out and be heard. You're just now getting away from the abuse and neglect. There's a lot of mental and emotional healing you deserve. Best wishes. I'm hoping I'll have access soon. Right now, I could not afford therapy on my own, but I know colleges usually offer some kind of therapy service. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to talk to my parents and brother after they defended sister-in-law leaving a soiled diaper and turd on my bed and taking stuff out of my mini fridge? Me, 19 female, and my sister-in-law, 31 female, do not get along. I met her 3 years ago for the first time after my brother, 31 male, introduced us. He said she was just nervous, but she was fine with the rest of our family. It was just me she was being hostile to. I was excited to meet her because I love my brother, and we were close, but the first impression never got better, and we'd fight whenever we were around each other. She was extremely vocal about my decision not to attend college and go a different path, and she was incredibly negative about it. Then she said it was no surprise, since it was me, and she'd bet I made that decision because no college wanted me. I told her they clearly wanted people with issues, since she went to college. When she and my brother got married, she told him that if I was his best person, I needed to wear a suit like the rest of his groomsmen and not the dress I had already paid for. Then she commented about how, guy-like, I looked at the wedding wearing a suit with the men. In return, I only congratulated my brother and ignored her. Even when she talked to me later, I ignored her. I told my brother after the wedding that I loved him, but would not be around her much because clearly we could not get along. So I avoided her and skipped events when she'd be around. That wasn't fully possible 7 weeks ago when she and my brother were visiting with my baby nephew. But I did stay mostly in my room when I finished work. And I didn't eat with the family, which my parents protested a lot. I stocked my mini fridge every few days, or at least I planned to. 4 days into their visit, I basically went no contact with my whole family, which is the point of my post. I had a day off work. My parents and brother went out for the day. Sister-in-law was home with the baby. I didn't want to be in the house alone with her, so I went out to avoid any awkwardness or conflict. But when I got home, there was a dirty diaper on my bed that had leaked and left stains on my bed covers. My mini fridge had been left open too, and food was missing from it. I went and confronted sister-in-law and threw the diaper at her. My parents came back as we were fighting, and they told me to calm down and stop making things worse. I asked them if they'd like to come home to find that and for her not to clean it up. They said it was a simple cleanup job, and I didn't need to react like that. I asked if I should pick it up and take it to their bed. They got mad and said I was over the top. Sister-in-law was laughing and made an excuse that she forgot to clean it up, and it had only been a few hours. Then I mentioned the food, and she said she got hungry and the baby was fussing. My parents said I could just join them for dinner. We were still fighting when my brother got home, and he said it wasn't worth the fight, and that I should understand sister-in-law is a new mom, and mom brain is a thing. Sister-in-law was loving it, and told them I had thrown the diaper right at her face. They asked me why I'd do something so disgusting and said I should apologize. That's when I told them all to F off and said good luck cleaning up the shit because I was out. I cleaned myself up a little, grabbed all my important stuff, and went to my grandparents' house. They picked me up a few blocks away. I can't drive due to a medical condition. They were disgusted and told my parents and brother how ashamed they were of them for siding with sister-in-law. That pissed sister-in-law off, and she told them to remember who gave them a great-grandchild. After about a week, my parents and brother reached out, but I refused to answer their calls. I ignored their texts where they asked if we could talk. I ignored their suggestion that we all sit down and hash it out and figure out a way to move on. I've had zero contact since. I refused to talk to them, and my grandparents have expressed this. They had to listen to my parents say I was behaving like a teenager, running away like this, and that I'll be 20 soon and need to talk to them before my birthday. One text even said that my hate for sister-in-law will cost me a relationship with my nephew as well as with my brother, and that I don't want that. Am I the a-hole? Your sister-in-law is an a-hole. She did that on purpose. If you agree to sit down with them, ask her why she hates you. Why is she so insecure? Why does she feel the need to grind you down? Does she get a perverse kick out of upsetting you? I know you're thinking about your relationship to your bro and nephew, but if your bro isn't standing up for you now, it's pretty clear she's going to poison the two of them against you. I feel like she already has. We used to be close, and until recently, I would have said we would be even if she hated me. But he defended her and so did our parents. And then to only get annoyed at what I did, when there's a reason I had a soiled diaper in the first place. It's made me feel different about all of them. Your parents and your brother are wrong, in every level. I'm glad you left. I don't want you to miss out on that relationship, but I actually feel like your brother doesn't actually care enough to stand up for you, actually for what is right. That behavior is appalling, and mom brain has nothing to do with someone just being an a-hole. Take your time, and when or if you decide you are ready, do it in your terms, and remember to keep your boundaries. And if they try saying you are wrong, continue with no or low contact. You were wrong in no way. I just wished you'd rub the diaper in her face instead of throwing it at her. Told her to eat that if she was hungry. Sorry, but I desire people that behave this way. Trust me, it's something I wish I had done too. Maybe they all needed to experience it since it's no big deal. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law is a disgusting piece of trash. Move in to your grandparents and don't speak to them at all unless they have a massive apology waiting. My grandparents are good with me living here. I'm already officially moved in, but I don't think an apology that takes this long would fix things.